stop sweeping at night. Binta, put down that broom. Stop sweeping at night. The sharp voice of her grandmother cut through the thick silence of the night. Binta froze for a moment, her hands tightening around the wooden handle of the broom. Her heart pounded out of frustration. She let out a small sigh and continued sweeping the dirty floor of their backyard. The moon shone brightly, casting long shadows as the dust rose in tiny clouds around her feet. "Binta, didn't you hear me?" her mother added, stepping out of the small mud house, her wrapper tied tightly around her waist. Binta straightened her back and rolled her eyes slightly before turning to face them. "Mommy, I don't understand why you people keep shouting about this. What is the big deal?" "It is just a broom and dust." Her grandmother stepped forward, her face lined with age and wisdom. "You don't understand, my child. We have warned you about sweeping at night. It is dangerous. Spirits roam at night, and they will not take it kindly with you disturbing their rest." Binta scoffed. "Spirits? Mama, please, that is just an old tale." Her mother shook her head, worry written all over her face. "Binta, you are a smart girl. You go to school. You study well. But some things are beyond books. If you don't believe us, at least respect the tradition." Binta sighed. She was tired of this argument. Every time she picked up a broom at night, they repeated the same warning. But nothing had ever happened. No spirits had appeared. No bad luck struck her. No misfortune had befallen her family. It was just superstition. She tucked the broom under her arm and smiled. "Grandma, Mommy, I love you both. But I can't sleep in a dirty environment. I don't believe that anything will happen to me." Her grandmother exchanged a knowing look with her mother. The old woman shook her head slowly and said, "You'll learn the hard way." Binta was known throughout the village of Alake for her beauty, intelligence, and most of all, her love for cleanliness. While other girls her age spent their time playing by the river or weaving baskets, Binta was always keeping the house clean, arranging and folding cloths, sweeping the compound, sweeping the backyard, sweeping the front yard, sweeping the tiny path that led to their home. She loved the feeling of a clean, dust-free environment. But you know, as the proverb goes, too much of everything is bad. Her mother and grandmother constantly warned her about sweeping at night. "You will sweep away our blessings." They would always warn her each time, but Binta would laugh it off. "Nothing will happen. It is just superstition," she would say, and truly, nothing had ever happened until that night. One evening, after a long day at school, Binta came home to find the front yard littered with leaves and dust, blown in by the Harmattan winds. She sighed in frustration, grabbed her broom, and without a second thought began sweeping. The night was calm, eerily calm. No usual village chatter, no distant sounds of goats bleating, no laughter from children. Even the wind had stilled as if holding its breath. As she swept, a soft whistle slithered through the air. It was faint, almost unnoticeable. Binta stopped, her ears straining. "Who is there?" she called out. Upon getting no reply, she shrugged and continued what she was doing. As she bent down to pack the heap of dirt, she suddenly felt goosebumps all over her body. She felt a heavy presence around her. She turned, but didn't see anything. Her grip on the broom tightened. Her heart pounded against her ribs. Binta couldn't bear the tension. She quickly tossed the broom aside, rushing into the house. She locked the door and pulled her wrapper tight around her shoulders. That night, sleep did not come easily. After that night, strange things began to occur. One night, as she reached for her broom, the oil lamp beside her flickered violently. Though there was no wind, the flames stretched unnaturally high, casting long, moving shadows on the mud walls. Binta blinked twice, trying to understand what just happened. But when she looked again, everything seemed normal. Another night, after sweeping as she was done packing the dirts, she stood up to leave with her brooms when she noticed long, deep, unrecognizable prints on the already swept compound. The footprints wasn't human nor animal. It was as if something had walked right through the yard unseen. So many mishaps started happening. Things started going wrong. Her mother's market stall that was always filled with customers suddenly became empty. People avoided their home, whispering about bad luck. Binta's school performance dropped. Her once sharp memory seemed to fade. Her closest friend Yemi pulled her aside one evening. "Binta, please listen to them. Stop sweeping at night. Something isn't right." Binta waved her off, but her throat tightened deep inside. Fear was creeping in, and the real terror was yet to come. As the years went by, Binta grew into a striking young woman. Her beauty was the talk of the village, and suitors came from far and wide to ask for her hand in marriage. Her mother and grandmother were overjoyed, believing she would soon be married into a respectable family. But something strange happened. Each time a suitor came to express interest and make arrangements, they never returned. First, it was Obinna, the rich merchant's son. He was enamored by Binta's beauty and kindness. But days after he left, he sent word that he had changed his mind. Then came Chike, a skilled farmer with vast lands. He was robbed by armed robbers on his way home. He saw it as a bad omen and withdrew. One by one, every suitor found an excuse to abandon their proposal, leaving Binta confused and heartbroken. Rumors spread that she has been cursed. Binta's grandmother looked at her with sorrowful eyes. "Binta, you have done something wrong. You disturbed what should have been left alone." Binta refused to believe it. She claimed that it must have been a coincidence. Perhaps they were never meant for me. With that, she left, although she troubled deep down. Despite all the warnings, Binta picked up her broom to sweep that same night. The night was darker than usual, and an unsettling silence settled over the village. Even the crickets seemed to have lost their voices. As she swept, she heard footsteps approaching. It was heavy and slow. Binta paused, listening carefully. "Mama," she called. No response. She took a cautious step forward. Peering into the darkness, she saw a pair of glowing red eyes staring at her from the shadows, near the tree at the edge of the compound. Her throat went dry, her legs trembled. The figure stepped forward. It was tall, cloaked in darkness. Its head had tentacles, its form shifting like smoke. "Binta." The voice was deep and hollow, like the wind whispering through the trees. "You have disturbed us long enough. Despite all warnings, you still don't listen." Binta gasped, stumbling backward. The broom dropped from her hands. The air around her turned ice cold, her breath visible as she exhaled in quick, shallow gasps. Then suddenly, the village rooster crowed loud and urgent. The figure hissed and melted back into the darkness. Binta wasted no time. She ran inside, bolting the door behind her, her heart slamming against her ribs. From that night onward, things spiraled downward. First, her grandmother fell mysteriously ill. The village healer tried all his remedies, but nothing worked. "This sickness is not of the body," he murmured gravely. "It is of the spirit." Then their livestock started dying one by one. The chickens refused to lay eggs, the goats bleated in distress, and the cows became weak and frail. The once lively household turned into a place of despair, and then the worst happened. Binta herself began to change. Her skin, once glowing and full of life, became pale and dry. She barely ate barely slept at night. Whispers filled her ears, soft, insistent voices calling her name. She started seeing shadows in the corners of her vision. Rumors spread faster than wildfire. She is cursed. She has angered the spirits. No man will ever marry her. The shame weighed heavily on her. She knew the elders were right. She had mocked the traditions, ignored the warnings, and now she was paying the price. Desperate, she finally sought out the village chief priest, a man known for his deep connection with the spirit world. He listened to her story with grave silence and then spoke. "You have broken a sacred rule, child. The spirits are not to be disturbed, but there is still hope." Binta fell to her knees. "What must I do? Baba, please tell me." He instructed her to prepare an offering. 3 white pigeons, a calabash of palm wine, and the finest yam from the market. Take them to the old shrine in the forest. There you must ask for forgiveness. Terrified but determined, Binta did as she was told. The journey to the shrine was long and filled with eerie whispers, unseen hands brushing against her skin. But she pressed on. At the shrine she knelt and cried from her heart. "I was wrong. I mocked the wisdom of my elders. Please forgive me," she cried. A sudden wind swept through the trees. The whispers ceased. The air grew warm again. When she returned to the village, everything changed. Her grandmother recovered. Their livestock thrived once more, and finally, after many years, a suitor came and stayed. Binta learned her lesson the hard way. Traditions are not just rules. They are the wisdom of generations.